Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS updates 2021 child tax credit and advanced child tax credit payments, frequently asked questions. But first, an attempt at a joke. I apologize in advance. The confusion and complexity of the tax code often makes me exclaim, "Dear God." Antler deity of Rudolph the Red-Nosed and all the rest of Santa's flying reindeer, please provide me the clarity to cut through the murky confusion of the tax code like a red nose cuts through the dense fog, providing passage to a flying sleigh. The tax code being the densest fog ever created by man. Dear God. May the presents continue to rain down from above for those on the good list. May those on the naughty list continue to be soiled from above by falling flying reindeer dung. Dear God. IR 2021-218, November 9, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today updated frequently asked questions FAQs for the 2021 child tax credit and advanced child tax credit payments. There's a link to that here to describe how taxpayers can now provide the IRS an estimate of your 2021 income using the Child Tax Credit Update Portal, the CTC UP. So quick update on what the child tax credit is, what the advanced child tax credit is, the changes they've made, how this might fit into it, what action you would need to take. The child tax credit is normally something that you file at the end when you file the tax return. So in 2021, under normal conditions, if you didn't have the advanced child tax credit payments, you would then file your tax return for year 2021 by April 15th of 2022. File for or include the child tax credit calculation, lowering the tax liability, possibly resulting in an increase in the refund. But they wanted to give the money out sooner, so what they did then is calculated the advanced child tax credit. To make that easier to do, they actually increased the child tax credit in total, then in essence tried to take half of it, which they're then going to allocate over the 6 months of 2021 and have been trying to do so up until this point and are continuing to try to do so. They also simplified the qualifications for the credit and they made more of it refundable, so that basically more people would basically qualify even if the tax liability goes below zero. And then they give out the advanced child tax credits, which have been going out for 2021. We can imagine still problems with this, however, because it's an advanced payment that's going to be based on 2021 tax return, which hasn't been filed and won't be filed till April 15th of 2022 or somewhere before that point in time. And so they have to rely on prior year data. That would be the 2020 tax return or the 2019 tax return or some other non-filer tool in order to get the information. And we can imagine situations where they're not going to get it quite right based on the prior year information because it's just an estimate. For example, if you have a situation where you have a joint custody situation where the child was on one person's tax return in one year and the other parent's tax return possibly in another year, then they might send the advance payment to the wrong person. You would think, given the fact that the custody might be changing in terms of the claiming the child as a dependent from year to year. You can also imagine a situation where a child was born in 2021 and or adoption happened in 2021. The IRS doesn't know about it because they're basing it on the prior year and therefore not picking up the advance payments. And we also have a situation here that's being addressed, which would be your income levels have changed. And there's a phase out if your income goes above a certain threshold. So for example, if your income was lower in 2020, you would probably get the maximum credit, let's say, and you would be getting the advanced credit payments. But if your income went up a lot in 2021, which it may have for many people who went back to work or something like that, then and they get their income high enough that it phases out the credit that's going to be given, then they would have gotten a prepayment that they didn't actually qualify for. And when the taxes come, then that would lower. They might actually have to pay kind of the money back or calculate that into their calculation. If on the other hand, your income was higher in 2020 and it's lower in 2021, you may not have gotten the prepayment that you should have gotten otherwise due to the limitation on your income limitation. And in that situation, it might actually wash out when you file the tax returns. In other words, what you're going to do when you file the tax return then by April 15th of 2022 is calculate the full credit amount, subtract out the amount of prepayments that you got, which if they were calculated properly, I believe would come out to half, and then you get still half the credit as a tax benefit by April 15th of 2022. But if you got the wrong amount of the credit, then it should basically wash out at that point in time. However, if you're talking about a situation where you didn't qualify for the prepayments in actuality, but you still got them due to one of these differences, then you might actually end up owing money. And that's probably the worst kind of situation that could come into play. Okay, so given that, you could then use this portal to tell the IRS particular things like don't give me the credit or the prepayment or I don't want it. Or now we have this situation where you can tell them what your income is so they can properly kind of calculate the credit, hopefully, and give you the proper credit payment. So that's the basic rundown. So these frequently asked questions, there's a link to that here. The Advanced Child Tax Credit Topic A FAQs are being added a question 17, and Topic F FAQs by adding new questions 2 through 6. These FAQs are being issued to provide general information to taxpayers and tax professionals as expeditiously as possible, which is good, but it is kind of late here. We're talking November, like the year ends. But in any case, more information about Reliance is available. There's a link to that here. And additional advanced child tax credit information. The IRS has created a special advanced child tax credit payments in 2021 page designed to provide the most up-to-date information about the credit and the advanced payments. It's at IRS.gov/child tax credit 2021. There's a link to that here. The IRS encourages partners and community groups to share information and use available online tools and toolkits to help non-filers, low-income families, and other underserved groups sign up. People can check their eligibility by using the Advanced Child Tax Credit Eligibility Assistant. There's a link to that here. The webpage features a set of frequently asked questions. There's a link to that here. It also provides direct links to the portal as well as to other online tools, the non-filer sign-up tool, and the Child Tax Credit Eligibility Assistant, and other useful resources. IRS FAQs. There's a link to this information here. There'll be a link to this in the description.